learned the laws of Boolean algebra, we are going to now learn about how we are going to minimize the Boolean expression, or simplify as we call it in our day-to-day language, to make it a simpler expression, so that we have to use lesser number of gates, lesser complex circuitry and easier design of a computer. Now, minimization of Boolean expressions will actually result in the reduction of the number of gates, as I just mentioned, resulting in from the lesser number of terms. The number of inputs per gate will also be lesser, so resulting from this would be less number of variables per term. Coming to this expression, if you look at these examples that I have discussed here, the minimization will reduce not only the cost of putting the number of gates, it will also increase the efficiency and reduce the power consumption each gate utilizes. So, if I have an expression like y x plus x dash, this x plus x dash can be easily removed or replaced by a 1 according to our postulates, and this will be equal to a 1. Similarly, y plus x x dash, which is a multiplication, can be replaced by a 0, which results to a simple y. X dash y plus x y dash is an output of a gate. Similarly, x dash y dash plus x y can be represented again by the gate x or x y. Let's come to another concept, which is called as minimum SOP, or we call it as a sum of products. Now, we headed towards a direction that if I understand the laws very well and I can apply those laws, I can be very comfortable in reducing a complex equation into a simpler one. However, for someone who is not very comfortable using these laws, may find it a little difficult in reducing it to a simpler version. I may reduce it to the nth term, whereas somebody would want to stop it 2 steps before my expression comes. So, we need to find out a common method of where each one of us can actually reach to the common exam situation or the simplified version of that same expression. So, let us look at this example. F is equal to xyz plus x dash yz plus xy dash z, and plus so on, can go on as the longer expression you want. But what I want to bring a focus here is that this kind of expression is called as sum of products, because you have a product of x y z, then we have another product x dash y z, the third one is x y dash z, and there is a sum sign between each product. So, it is called the sum of products. The plus is the sum operator, which is the OR gate we have learnt earlier, and the product, which is a logical product as in x y, is the AND gate for the 2 inputs x and y. Let us take this example. If we have a function which is given to us in the form of sum of products of the function a, b, c and d, we can represent it also as summation. Now, summation, when I write, it means that it is going to be a sum of product. There are some terms written in front of it which are numeric values: 3, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. How do I bring this to the ABCD form? So, I have a table right in front of this screen, which shows 3, 7, 11 written in the first column. If I put it as the ABCD, I am going to convert the decimal 3 into a binary number of 00s and 1s. So, ABCD is represented in form of 0011, and when it is a 0, we represent it as an A dash. When it is a 1, we represent the variable in the normal form. So, a 3 is equivalent to a 0011, and it can be represented as A dash, B dash, C and D. Let us take another example. So, let us now take the number 14, which can be represented as 1110, and in terms of ABCD, it will be A, B, C and a D dash, because we have a 0 in place of the D. So, the same expression now I have converted from 3, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 in the form of the variables A, B, C, D, both in the direct form and in the inverted form, wherever we have had a 0 for that variable. So, the expression that comes out is A dash B dash C D plus A dash B C D plus A B dash C D plus A B C dash D dash plus A B C dash D plus A B C D dash plus A B C D. We are going to apply the laws here to reduce them to a simpler form. For the first 2 terms, I take out a CD common. Rather, for the first 3 terms, I take out a CD common, and for the next 4 terms, I take out an AB common. And we have simplified that expression there. Again, in the third line, If you look at it, the CD remaining common, now I can still take out an A dash common, which makes it A dash with the common of B dash and B. Again, AB remaining common, I have been able to take out a CD common, so we have a C dash D dash plus C dash D actually getting converted into a simpler form. The next line, the CD, B dash plus B can be replaced by a 1. Similarly, D dash plus D can be replaced by another 1 in both these terms. So, we have a simpler form of AB plus AB dash CD plus A dash CD. Now, again, a CD can be taken out common from the last two terms. So, we have AB plus CD common, AB dash plus A dash. AB dash plus A dash can also be converted and represented as A plus A dash and A dash plus B dash. Opening up all the brackets in the second last statement, we have AB plus A dash CD plus B dash CD. The last statement we see, we have taken out a CD common. So, the simplified version is AB plus CD with a common of A dash plus B dash. So, look at the first statement where we had 7 terms in forms of all variables A, B, C and D in their different forms, and the simplified version we still have variables A, B, C, D, but we are literally left with only 3 terms. This is the purpose of applying the laws of Boolean algebra. So, we have reduced the number of gates that would have been used to implement that same statement and to get an output of that function, which can be simply represented in the last form with lesser number of gates and a much simpler expression. Now, we have another term which is called as a minimum product of sum. This contains the fewest number of sum terms and the fewest number of literals of any POS or the product of sum, which is represented by the function. The zeros are considered exactly the same as 1 in the case of the sum of product. So, in case of sum of product, we put a 1. In case of product of sum, we replace that 1 with a 0. That is what we need to remember. Similar example, FABCD. When we see a pi, it shows it is going to be a product of sum 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, or if you find it difficult to write it in this form, you can convert it into a sum of product form, replace that pi with a summation sign, and all the values which are written are to be skipped. The ones that are missing are to be written in the form of a summation or the sum of product. So, we have 3, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. This is the exact same term that we were working in the previous example. However, since we are discussing a product of sum form, I am going to represent and write it in the form of a product of sum. So, I am representing 0, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 and 10 as a product of sum. So, wherever we are going to have zeros, we will have an A, B, C, D here because we are looking at product of sum. So, if you look at 0, it will be a 0, 0, 0, 0, which makes it A, B, C and D, and we are writing it as A plus B plus C plus D. The next term is in the multiplication form because we are talking of product of sum. So, we have sums within smaller brackets and they have all been logically multiplied. Why did I introduce this concept of sum of product and product of sum to you? This leads to another way of simplifying the Boolean expressions with another tool which is called as the Karnaugh maps. The Karnaugh maps are a very simple way of representing the same Boolean expression, but we are going to use a diagram or a table here. As I mentioned to you earlier, a few people do not find themselves comfortable or cannot use the Boolean laws to the complete simplification format. So, we have another method which is this Karnaugh maps, which makes sure that when you use this tool for simplifying, the output that you get is the most simplified form. So, people prefer this over just using a law of Boolean algebra. This is a tool for representing Boolean functions up to 6 variables. So, it becomes easy. However, the most common ones that are used are 2 variables, 3 variables or 4 variables. K-maps, as they are also called in the short form, are tables of rows and columns with the entries which represent 1 or zeros for the SOP, which is the sum of product, and POS, which is the product of sum representation. And that is exactly why I introduced you to the concept of a SOP or a POS. This involves a simple procedure for simplifying the Boolean expressions, and it is a pictorial representation of the truth table. How do we draw a map? Keeping the same rule in mind, depending on the number of variables, we will have 2 to the power n possible options. So if you have an n variable K map, there will be 2 to the power n cells with each cell corresponding to an n variable truth table value. These K map cells are labeled with corresponding truth table rows. There is a set rule that we need to follow. We just cannot draw it the way we want to. We will learn that method of how to make a truth table, a K map. These K map cells are arranged in a particular order, and the order is such that each cell which is adjacent one will correspond to the truth row that is different from one bit position only, which means this term can be used as a logical adjacency, that each cell, when I move from one cell to the other cell, out of the variable that each cell represents, only one variable can change, and that is why we call them as logical adjacents. If Mi is a min term of F, then place a 1 in the cell I of the K map. This is how we start placing the values. So assuming we are using a SOP form, I will place a 1 for each min term that has been given to me in the expression. If I am using a POS form, I will place a 0 in each Mi or the max term of that function that has been given to us. There is a third type which is called as a don't care condition. In that, we will place a D or a X or a cross, as you may call it, in each cell. Let's start looking at how a two variable map looks. M0, M1, M3 and M4. So if this is a way of putting it here, if we look at the right hand side, I have represented the same value in terms of X and Y because we have only two variables. So there will be 4 combinations. One side we write an X, the other side we write a Y, 0 and 1 for each one of them. So if I look at a cross section of the two, 0 and a 1, that cell is called as X dash Y dash. The next cell on the first row is called as X dash Y because X has a value 0 whereas a Y has a value 1. Look at the column. So if you look at the second row, column 1, where X has a value 1, Y has a value 0. So it is X Y dash. The last cell where the combination is X is 1 and Y is 1, it is called as a cell as XY. This is a standard form that we use. We do not change this. Now, how do we put the values there? Keeping in mind the expression that has been given to us, if it is a SOP form, we will put the value 1 in each cell that is being represented by the terms that have been given to us in that expression. So, we have already marked, just for an example, the first one is talking about XY. So, look where we have a value XY. That is the last cell. X has a value 1, Y has a value 1. Look at the next example. It represents X plus Y. So, we have the markings made accordingly. Let us look at a 3 variable map. Now, when we have 3 variables, the possible number of cells 2 to the power 3, which makes it 8. So, we are going to have a cell with K map with 8 cells in it. So, there are going to be 8 min terms in the 3 variable map. So, map will consist of 8 squares. This is how a 3 variable K map will look. So, you can read out M0, M1, M3, M2, M4, M5, M7 and M6. Similarly, if you want to represent it in the form of X, Y, Z, we usually take X on one side and Y, Z on the other side. You see X is 0 and 1. Similarly, with Y, Z, you will have 4 possible combinations 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0. Now, if you look at each of these cells, there is only one variable changes as we move from one cell to the other cell, and that is what makes them logically adjacent. Look at the first row, first 2 cells. Y remaining as 0 in the first cell, Y remains a 0 in the next cell also. Z changes from a 0 to a 1. So, only variable Z has changed. The row remaining X is equal to 0 remains constant for them. So, if you look at the first row completely and go one cell by the other, X remaining 0 for all. First cell, the Z changes from a 0 to 1. Go to cell number 2 to 3. The Y changes from a Y dash to a Y. Go from cell number 3 to 4. You see that Z changes from a Z to a Z dash. So, only one variable changes, and that is why they are called logically adjacent. So, any 2 adjacent squares in the map which will differ only by one variable, which is the primed in one square and unprimed in the other, which means with a dash. So, M5 and M7 the 2 adjacent squares. Look at this one, M5 and M7. If you look at the example here, XY dash Z, XY dash Z. yz, sorry. So y dash has changed to a y. Look at the other one. The other two variables are the same in both the squares. From the postulates of Boolean algebra, it follows that the sum of two minterms in the adjacent squares can be simplified to a single AND term, which consists of only two literals. And this is the reason why we have to keep in mind the logical adjacency. So if I put the terms of m5 and m7, which is x y dash z plus x y z, I take out common x z, y dash plus y, which can be replaced by a 1 according to the law. I am left with only one output, which is xz. Let's try and apply these into this law. Let's take a example of function xyz represented by summation 2, 3, 4, 5. So which means a 1 is going to be marked in each minterm that represents the function. Hence, 2 will be represented by 0, 1, 0, cell 3 with 0, 1, 1, 4 by 1, 0, 0 and 5 by 1, 0, 1. Bind these possible adjacent squares. This is how we are going to start now after drawing the K-map, trying to simplify it. These are indicated in the map by two rectangles, each enclosing two ones. Looking at this example, this is how the K-map will get marked. The four terms that were given to us have been marked. Look at the first row. We have put two ones together. Similarly, the second row also we have grouped these two ones together. The rule that we all apply for a K-map simplification is that we will make groups of logically adjacent neighbors. The group can be a 2, 4, 8, that is a multiple power of 2. We do not have a group of 3 or 5 or 6 or 7 like this. So anything, a group has to be 2 to the power 2 or 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4 and so on. The bigger is the group, the more simplified your term will be. In this example, we have a group of 2 each. We cannot make any other group. Now, how do I read this? Once we have grouped these values, let's take the first row. First row, x remains constant as 0 for both of them. So we write down x dash. Now, between the two ones, when we move from the column, from the cell number 3 to 4, we see that y remains the same, which is as the y, whereas z changes from a z to a z dash. So y remains constant, so the term will be x dash y. Look at the second row, x remains constant, so we write down x. Again from yz, y remains constant as a y dash, so we note that down. Z has changed from a z dash to a z, so we cannot write down. So the simplified version, the answer that we get out of this K-map is x dash y plus xy dash. So the lower left rectangle represents the product form xy dash. The upper right one is represented by x dash y. The sum of these two terms will give us the final answer, which is x dash y plus xy dash. We could have represented it in the form of m0s and m2 also. This is how the same would look like. There are cases where two squares in the map are considered to be adjacent even though they do not touch each other. This is an extreme case. If you look at this example, m0 is adjacent to m2. Both being in the extreme corners, if I try and do a wrap around, I can bring m0 and m2 together. Similarly, m4 and m6 are not close to each other, they are not touching each other. But if I use the concept of wrap around, m4 and m6 are also logically adjacent to each other because for them also only one variable is changing. So we could have grouped m0 and m2, m4 and m6, or made a big group of 4, m0, m2, m4 and m6. So these two will also be called as neighbors. Let's take another example where I am showing you the wraparound concept of grouping the values. Look at the second row, extreme corners. The value is x remaining same for both of them. Y changes from a 0 to a 0 to a 1, whereas z remains constant to a 0. So what we get in the second row is going to be a term x z dash. So wraparound can be done for 2 or 4 variables provided they are logically adjacent. The two adjacent squares are combined in the third column to give a 2 literal term yz. The remaining 2 squares with ones are shown in the above diagram with their values enclosed in the half rectangles, which is a way we show how a wraparound concept works. We do not close these two, both are left open-ended. When these two half rectangles are combined, it yields the two literal terms x and z dash. The simplified function becomes yz plus xz dash. Now let's look at a 4-variable map. This is how a 4-variable map looks. You can take A, B, C, D on one side. You can either represent it by 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 or 1, 0, or if you find that more comfortable, as A dash B dash, A dash B, AB and AB dash. The positions of the cells remain the same, row wise 0, 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, 7, 6, 12, 13, 15, 14 and 8, 9, 11, 10. Keeping in mind, each one of them is logically adjacent cell. We use the same formula or method of filling the cells. Looking at an SOP form, it is a summation of products, yes. So 0, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 and 15 are the cells that we need to mark in. Each of the cell has been marked by a 1. Look at the groups that we have made here. The central group of 4, a vertical group of 4 and the 4 corners as a wraparound groups of 4 each. So you know how you can use a wraparound, which makes it a bigger group of 4. The simplified answer here is got out as BD plus C dash D plus B dash D dash. I can explain any one of these. Let's look at the vertical section, which is C dash D column. So C dash D remaining constant for each. When I move from cell number 1 to 5, A dash remains constant, but when I move from cell 5 to 3, that A dash also changes. So I cannot write A or B. Now I move from cell 3 to 9, again A remains constant, but as B changes. So with each movement from cell 1 to 5, 5 to 3, 3 to 9, one variable has been constantly changing, be it A or be it B. So we cannot write either from A or B. What was the only constant was a C dash D, and that is how we got the term C dash D from here. Moving to another example, summation M 0, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13 and 15. The cells have been marked by 1s. Look at the bigger group. You have an overlap group of 4 again. So we have a wraparound group again that is visible to us. If you want to find out the value of how this wraparound group would work, look at the AB side. So A dash B dash is the first entry and the last entry is AB dash. So here my B dash does not change, so I write a value B dash. Look at the column of C and D. What is constant? A C dash is constant for all the 4 values. So my answer for this group would be a B dash C dash. This is how we got a B dash C dash. Again, coming to the central square, when I move from 1 to 5 to 13 to 9, A and B both keep changing. Whereas when I look at the column C dash D and CD, D remains constant. So we have a value D here. So again, bigger is my group, the more simplified is the answer I get out of K-map. Let's look at the last condition, that is called as a don't care condition. Sometimes we are given some terms. When we put them on a map, I will not be able to group them into any other group and we do not get any simplified answer out of it. So there is the entire effort of making a K-map, putting the values there, but I cannot group any of those values because we do not have any group which is or any entry which is present in a logically adjacent cell. So the output of it remains the same as the input was. So we do something called as a don't care condition. This don't care condition is denoted by a cross symbol on the cell and we put it ourselves. The combinations for which we do not have any output expression, these are specified by these don't care combinations. We have taken some examples here in the 8421 code. The input states as 1001, 1010, 1011, 1100, 1101 and so many more. These are our don't care conditions. So let's look at a map with a don't care condition. So when I plotted these values here on this table, I get groups of 2 each, but I wanted to make an overlap group or a bigger group. However, I could not have made in the cell of AB01 and CD00. So what we do here is we put a cross or the don't care condition and we make a bigger group of 4 cells, and that is how the simplified version would be able to give me a final answer. Thank you so much.